Hi, as I delve into talking about one's mental environment, physical environment, and relating that to their goals, um, I thought I should come up with a video um, that is talking about some of the principles, concepts, beliefs that uh, I think make up my mental environment and that have simply found impressive, and some that I think of acting on, and some of the concepts and principles that shape some of the decisions that I make in life, and some of the decisions that I will make in future. And these are just some of those, and they're in no particular order of importance. And yeah, these eight uh, are just some of those, and maybe in another video I'll extend the a bit more into other principles and concepts that shape my thinking, shape my decision making, and so on. And so, number one, the first one that I think I found most impressive as a principle is Ray Dalio's principle or concept of the idea meritocracy. I think that principle is one that has so much wealth and greatness, and if implemented, and I find that it's a principle that Zambia to be specific, which is where I'm talking from, and other African countries could so much and benefit from. And the whole concept of a organization, institution, decision making that is based on the merit of ideas, on well checked, well verified, and people being truthful, and so many requirements of that idea meritocracy. I think I found very, very impressive and worth noting in making one's decisions in life, personal life, or in organizational life, or in building of institutions, companies, in countries, and so on. And based on the idea meritocracy, um, I've been working on a project behind the scenes for a union of teachers, rural teachers in Zambia, based on this idea meritocracy. But well, that implementation is still in the very very early stages. It's not yet ripe. So in maybe another video, I'll share more on any progress that will be made in that direction. But definitely, the idea meritocracy as an idea, I think for me has impressed me so much that I can't go through life without having acted upon it, whether in my own private institution or putting it into the public uh, domain or public institutions. So that's principle number one, the idea meritocracy. Um, then there's the Pareto principle that I think I haven't really used, but as a principle, I think it's one that I watch out for and see how it it pans out. Not that I have any specific experience with it, but any observations that I would make in my development as I go through my journey and reach um, the objectives that I would like to reach in business and in entrepreneurial success. I think the Pareto principle for me is one idea that I think is something I look out for and see how it can pan out in decision making and in getting the overall understanding of society, social relations, and so on. Then the power of giving as a principle is the third one I'd like to focus on, and this cannot be more well articulated than it has been in Gary Vee's book, Jab Jab Right Hook. I think the power of giving um, as a lifestyle, as a way of living, and uh, is something that I think must have been embedded in the way the universe is created, in the way the earth is created, because I just see it as probably the most powerful, untouchable thing on this planet. I think it's just so amazing what I've seen others achieve with basically the principle of giving. And I think giving wholeheartedly, giving to anyone, your family, giving to people you don't know, and just giving, I think, is the key to a lot of struggles that people find themselves in family life. The more selfless one is, the more selfless one is in business, the more selfless one is in institutional giving, in the more selfless one is in the country's governance, the more selfless they are. It basically just bounces back as long as it comes from the right place. It's written in stone, though yet to I'm yet to see it be so tangible, but it's an intangible that is so present and strong. Yeah, so that's my take on the power of giving and Jab Jab Right Hook by Gary Vee. For Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Forgot this principle for a while, just could remember the name, and so I had to check it up on YouTube, and I just think it's a principle one should look out for, and something that I learned in the time I finally found myself in large amount of debt, and I think it testifies to the power of due diligence and some of the bad investment decisions, like certain house that I bought which I didn't do a full due diligence on. I think just is a testament to how important due diligence is, and Murphy's Law, that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And I think with me, Murphy's Law is just a law that says do your due diligence always and every time you undertake any kind of endeavor, whether it be financial, whether it be an expedition of something you want to achieve in your life or explore, to your due diligence. Murphy's Law. Another important concept, that's number 5, that I found very useful and I'm trying to use over in my life, is the cash flow quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. E quadrant, S quadrant, B quadrant, I quadrant, I think is a very simple way of explaining how people get about life and how they earn their living, and it's a principle that I think shapes much of my attempts in entrepreneurship and business, and how I see things and how I decide on things, and generally it's very good advice for future generations and even current generations. I think the cash flow quadrant, there's never been a principle more so accurate. The number 6, another principle I feel is right up there is actually the concept or the idea of capitalism. The first ism, I think, on my list there. And I just believe in uh, reward and not the whole selfish type of capitalism that people portray, but I think in a capitalist society, I think is the most fair society because it provides equity and not equality, and it rewards those that make the effort. And I think overall, the world should be and should turn out more capitalist, and it's just a matter of how you can control the loopholes that are in that system from it becoming an issue of greed. Yeah, so greed does ruin capitalism. Greed is one of the major weaknesses that capitalism has, but capitalism by itself, I think, is a very great concept and one which I think um, people should consider to be a lifestyle. And I see a lot of political parties formed on more communistic, socialistic lines, and I lean towards capitalism, and I think capitalism is the way that society should be structured. Number seven is my own idea, which I have considered so many times. I think I do not have the capacity of implementing, but it's the idea of the e-bar, a bar that I think will be able to save the alcohol industry, where uh, alcohol can be sold in more of the based on more of the application or structure or copying of how online video gaming is done. And I think the alcohol industry would benefit a lot from the e-bar. I keep on searching for people who could implement this and who believe in the idea and be open to being part of such a team that embraces such that idea. And I've been thinking in the past few days to actually show or cultivate a market and show the kind of demand that is probably really out there for the e-bar, and see how I can present that to people that I believe can actually implement it, or people who believe they can implement it. So yeah, I really believe in the concept of the e-bar. Then eight, last but not the least, Christianity and its basis on love, I think is I've discovered over the years that Christianity, because I actually became atheist at one time, but not experimentally. Actually, I thought, well, it made more sense, but eventually Christianity is based on love, and faith, I think, removes us as humans from the limits of proof, and takes us to the other level, which is the extended potentials of faith. And many other times that we as human beings do a lot of things based on faith and intangible based on love. And so I see a situation where Christianity actually cultivates that kind of appreciation of life, and subject to debate. But I think with the developments in AI and artificial intelligence, and if one time there will be super artificial intelligence, a super intelligence that is artificial, I think one of the hurdles I think it's going to have is it's not going to have that ability of the human who can actually do things based on faith irrationally, based on faith and based on love and based on hope, because it's artificial intelligence. I think its weakness is everything has to be logical, and everything has to be informed based on the logic available. And when logic reaches its limit, I think that's where humans have got the upper hand, because they can tend to faith and they can tend to love and tangible. So those are the 8 ideas that quickly have come to my fingertips and thought I should share them with you. And I think they can be a basis for one's mental environment and how they can go about reaching their goals. And so I hope that would be helpful for anyone who will be or who is on their journey to achieving their goals. And if you liked this video, subscribe, hit the like button, and go ahead and make a comment. Otherwise, I make these videos not with the addiction to likes, but more like trying to just put information out there. Never know who it can be useful to, and so the information is out there. Hope to cross the path of somebody who will find it useful. I think that's the last idea or concept that I wanted to share with you. So